Hey, how's it everybody? Today's video I want to start with a special shout out and a thank you. Thank you to the guys over at Code for continuously supporting the Stand Up Magazine, standupmagazine.com, supporting me with cool content and overall being an awesome client. It really helps my channel and my website out. And also a special shout out to Sam Utley that was able to get me that new Code foil, the X8010, you guys, and I'm really looking forward to test that out today. We are back in Kanaha. It is winter time. We have swells and the wind is just not as reliable as it used to be during the summertime, so that's why it's been a hot minute for me with a video. But today looks just right out there. There are some sets coming through and it's considerably crowded. The parking lots are full everywhere and we have a lot of windsurfers, we have kiters, we have the parawingers, although the parawingers are more down at Ka'a. I see one guy on one of them para kites, and of course lots of wingers. For my setup today, yes, I get to test and I'm super stoked that X810. And first I looked a little bit at the shape, and as you guys might know from all my videos in the past, I've been reviewing a lot of Armstrong gear, not that much anymore, haven't gotten any gear from that corner. And as you guys can see, the shape is surfy. It's a surfy shape, and I usually ride when the winter time the Armstrong, the MA800. Yes, I know there is an MA800 number 2, but I am no longer on the Armstrong list for gear reviews, but that's how that is. But lucky, thank you guys from Code to have me test this gear. But I kind of did a little bit of a comparison there with the MA and the X810, and as you guys can see, the X810 has clearly the slimmer wingtips, and it looks like it's designed for most of the lift is being generated close to the mast, which of course kind of makes sense because then you have a center, kind of like the foot pressure is in the center, and as soon as you turn, like the tips turn easier. Makes sense. Less lift, less resistance, easier to turn. And then it's got those wingtips which give you the stability during those turns. So to me that all makes perfect sense. And of course I've been watching some reviews and guys were saying that the wing doesn't pump all that well, and I know a lot of guys want to pump back to the second wave, so we're going to test out on how that whole pumpability goes. And with the wing it's really the easiest way to test stuff because I don't have to sit around proning and waiting for finally a wave to show up, so that's kind of good. And as far as the tail goes here, that's a 180 tail, makes me comfortable, 180 tail. And as far as the mast placement goes, I actually have it a little bit further back because with fuselage, the front foil is just sitting a tad further forward than what I'm used to. So I moved it a tad back on my 55 liter board, and I think that is a good call. So let's go out and test this whole thing out. Okay guys, first verdict, yes, it's a surf foil, totally true. And session verdict, the waves were not really that good actually. In fact, from a surfer point of view, it was kind of practically flat. Longboard waves at best and really slow, so I wasn't able to get the waves that I wanted, like really getting into a bigger wave, but I could feel the potential. And for winging, yes, so absolutely I could sail upwind with this, so I can get back to the wave that I want to catch. That's pretty important in my opinion. And you can just feel how this thing is rolly, turny, and as they said in other reviews, yes, it is not that pumpy, that is for sure. I actually have to admit I had this thing for a while, and I did one sub foil session at my home spot, and I already kind of noticed it there, but it was able to take off on the wave real nicely, so I paddled into the waves and stuff, and that was all good. But sadly no footage from there. But as far as this session here goes, totally stoked on this thing. Would I be riding this in the summer for downwind bumps and stuff like this? No, for sure not. That would not be my thing unless you're like a really good light rider and you can really surf and wanna surf and turn for for sure, but for me it was cool. And one thing that I tried and that I kind of was like daring to do, something that I never do, is like trying to breach those wingtips. So I was like, hey, everybody says how stable this thing is when you try to breach the wingtips, or when you actually turn that hard and the wingtips breach automatically, which I'm honestly not that good at, but I tried my hardest and I got those wingtips out of the water pretty cool. Usually I can do it with like a higher aspect foil that is a much bigger wingspan, so it's easier to do. But with this one, it's like I just leaned in as hard as I could and I got those wingtips out, and to my surprise I did better than in other attempts, which now I don't know, is there the foil to blame because you have that wingtip stability there, or did I just become a better winger over time? Who knows, but I actually had really a lot of fun daring that foil and see how far can I push it until, you know, like you get upwind too much or I lose control and I fall in, which happened at least once. So that was fun. But yeah, from a wave point of view, you guys, I did not get the wave experience that I was hoping for. It is small out there and it is windy from the side, so it's hard to make out the set, and the chop is about as big as the set is, and so that was not that much of a success. I tried to pump it into some bumps, but again, it is not that pumpy foil. So for that reason, if I were to get this, and I totally would if I could, maybe they want to send me one, you guys, to keep. That would be super cool. But yeah, for waves, I would definitely recommend this in waves and bigger waves, and maybe even a smaller size. And that thing is like, it doesn't want to overfoil. That was another thing that with other foils I noticed, that I have this front foot pressure right away when I gain speed, and this one kind of didn't do that. Yet again, I rode the whole setup a little bit further back, so also because the Code setup has the front foil a little bit ahead of the mast in compared to the Armstrong, for example, where the thing is like pretty much butting up to the mast, and this one was a little bit further forward. So I moved the whole thing back, but I never felt that I was overfoiling, or I felt like, oh, I'm going to breach this thing. One thing I might have to mention on the setup that was given to me, maybe I would ride it a little bit a longer mast, just because I'm acquainted to longer masts. But other than that, yeah, you can definitely you can haul ass with the this thing and get a lot of speed, and I did not overfoil. Final verdict, absolutely for advanced riders. This is not a beginner foil, you guys. This is an intermediate to advanced foil. If you want to ride waves, it takes off in waves for subfoiling, so that's good. I experienced that. And for winging, it holds upwind, which is important for sailing back to the wave that it came from, so that's good. And it wants to turn, it's very rolly, and the turning radius on the jibes are a whole lot smaller than on other foils, so that was kind of cool too. So overall, very maneuverable, very versatile for surfing and for advanced riders. Definitely good job, you guys over there in Australia with the development of that foil. Definitely stoked of it, and also stoked to see you guys in the next video.